Hi, lovies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos and to you guys that actually educate I, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright, lovelies, let's dive in today's video.
So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to show you guys where this sister is actually here to share with us on how the enslaved people were actually tormenting their oppressor. Like, guys, this is just like an irony. I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and if you have had this kind of experience, just leave it in the comment section and let's dive into it. But before then, don't forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or so we just help.
This story that I'm about to tell today, even though it happened years ago, still gives me chills, and I feel like it has a lot to do with why I quit my job. So I used to work in long-term care. For those of you that don't know, pretty much a nursing home. I was a certified nursing assistant out of high school. This was my first big girl job, okay? So when I first started, I didn't know a lot about the different types of shifts, but there's pretty much 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. I worked the 7 to 3, which was 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As time went on, I slowly started to transition to 3 to 11 to work around my college courses. But every now and then I would pick up an 11 to 7 shift. It didn't take long before I started working there where people were telling me about this one particular resident that had an issue with people of a certain color coming into his room. I didn't have too much interaction with this resident because, like I said, I only worked 7 to 3, and you didn't have to do a lot for him. Just go in and check on him and make sure he was okay. Bring him his food tray. Every now and then he might ask you for help to go to the bathroom, but that was about it. I had heard that this resident could get kind of nasty sometimes. I also heard that he had dementia, so he was like seeing stuff. And I also remember going in his room a couple times and seeing all of the mirrors in his room covered up. This is gonna come back later. So on my first 11 to 7, we'll call this nurse Patty. Patty pulled me aside and she was like, hey, this is the list of people, pretty much doing a report for when I first, clocked in, starting my shift. She told me who I had, who was total assist, which I had to do everything for, and who I could pretty much, let. So I noticed that this list had this certain patient's number on it, this certain resident's number on it. His room number was on there. But instead of it saying, just limited assistance or whatever, it was like total assist. So I asked, I'm like, I know I have him during the day and I just go in and check on him and make sure he's okay. If he rings the call light, I'll go in. But other than that, that's about it. When did he become a total assist? So she proceeds to tell me that the night before, he got so scared and so frantic and thought something was in his room that he jumped out of his bed and fell on the floor and did something to his hip. So at this point, currently, he's a total assist, meaning I have to go in, I have to check on him, I have to do everything for him. I said, cool, no problem. I start doing my rounds, I start checking on my people, passing out ice water, changing people, as I normally do. Literally not even 15 minutes into my shift, his call light is on. I go in, I make sure everything's okay. As soon as I get in, I kid you not, this man is literally in the fetal position. I walk up to him and I ask him if everything's okay. Obviously, when I walk up to him, I'm very careful because, like I stated before, he did not like people of my color coming into his room. During the day, he would make a big deal out of this. Like, if he could get a nurse or a nursing assistant of a different color, he definitely would. He did not pay that any mind. He literally jumped straight into, they're in here, they're after me, please help me. I'm looking like, who is they? He's like, you don't see that little boy behind you? No, I can't say that I do, sir. So it took me literally 15 minutes, and by the grace of God, I was able to calm this man down. We're going to call him Mr. Johnson. After I calmed Mr. Johnson down, I left out of the room, and I went and did my rounds like usual. Literally, not even 10 minutes later, he's back on the call light. I said, okay, maybe he's got to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know. So I went in, checked. This time when I went in the room, I noticed that the room was extremely cold. Extremely cold. When I went in there earlier, it was not cold like that. Now, the nursing home, that nursing home in particular was a little colder on the graveyard shift. But when I tell you it was cold to the point where I could see my breath cold. At this point, not only is he in the fetal position, but he is also under the covers and he is also crying. So I walk up to him. I lift the cover up. I look under the cover. Again, he's sitting under there. We make immediate eye contact and he's like, help me. Please help me. So I'm trying to calm him down because whatever he's seeing, I'm just not seeing it. So I'm like, Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna need for you to cooperate with me. I'm gonna need for you to tell me what's going on so I can better assist you and we can get through this shift together. At this point, I'm doing what I've been taught to do for somebody that's going through a dementia or Alzheimer's crisis, which is what I was told that he had. He calms down a little bit and he literally just starts talking. And when I tell you this got crazy quick, it got crazy quick. So he's telling me that when he was younger, about his 20s or 30s, he was married to a young woman. We're going to call her Maggie. Him and Maggie had just bought a farm. It was literally just him and Maggie. And before you knew it, Maggie got pregnant. Back then, it literally wasn't uncommon to have people of color hired as help to help you on the farm, to help you raise kids, whatever the case may be. This was post-slavery, but people was very much still feeling entitled to doing whatever they wanted to do to people of color. So that's the time frame we in. He tells me that months go down the line, whatever. He goes and he wakes up early one morning. He sees that his wife is a little uncomfortable. She tells him like maybe the baby's coming or whatever. He doesn't think nothing of it. He goes out, get on his tractor, and he does his farmer work. He has a farm hand named Tommy. Tommy is a black man, okay? Around lunch, he's guessing is when his wife went into labor while he was still out in the field. His wife called her mother-in-law, which was Mr. Johnson's mom, her sister-in-law, and his brothers came as well. Everybody's making sure that everything's going okay. The baby is finally born at some point. When the baby is born, I guess everybody in the room looked around at each other and realized that this baby was not in no way, shape, or form white. The brothers immediately take the baby and they go outside. His mom sits there with her and they snatch this baby and they take the baby outside. Meanwhile, all this is going on. Him and Tommy are still out in the field. They took this baby out into a body of water. And I will not be saying what they did to this baby, but you can only imagine for the time period. Him and Tommy finally wrap up their work for the day and he heads back to the house. When he gets inside the house, he sees his wife sitting there with his mother. His wife is crying. His mom's just sitting there irritated and pissed off. He asks what's going on, and that's when she gives him the whole rundown that your wife was pretty much sleeping with your field hand, and this is the situation that you're in. So he asks, where's the baby? And the mom says, your brother's taking care of it. Don't worry about it. You need to figure out what you're going to do with her. Meanwhile, this is going on. His brothers have went and got Tommy out of the field. The things that they did to Tommy, again, I cannot describe it here on TikTok, but just imagine the torture and everything that he went through. They literally just left him there in that field. They left him there in the middle of the field. This man proceeds to tell me that when he finally figures out what happened and what his brothers did, they literally acted like nothing ever happened. And every night, Tommy and his son will come and visit him like clockwork. At this point, when I tell you the chills are running up my spine, literally every hair on my body is sticking up. I don't know what to say. I'm like, when they say frozen in fear, I was frozen in fear. Because it's like, as soon as he told me that story, I could pick up on what was in the room. Before I couldn't pick up on what it was, but I could immediately feel something else in the room with us. After he told me the story, I finally got him to calm down and he went to sleep. He slept for literally a couple hours, and at this point we're at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like clockwork, he hits that call light again. I go back in. I remember walking into the room and all of the sheets were taken off of the mirrors, which I thought was very strange, because he wanted his mirrors covered up for a reason. I went over to Mr. Johnson and I touched him to make sure that he was okay. And this man was ice cold. He had died. As I went to leave the room to go contact a nurse, oh my God, I'm getting chills. I'm literally passing by this mirror. And as I'm headed out, on my left is the mirror. I turn and look in the mirror, and behind me, to the far wall of Mr. Johnson's room, I see a taller figure and I see a shorter figure standing beside this taller figure that I would say is probably about the height of a 5-year-old child. I have never seen nothing like that in my life, ever. And I cannot explain the amount of fear that ran through my body, but I got out of that room so quick, I will tell you that. The crazy part is that when the nurse came in, we could not understand how these mirrors got uncovered. Even the one in the bathroom was uncovered. The one in his room was uncovered. Again, this is a man that just hurt his hip yesterday. There's no reason why he should have been out of bed taking these blankets off this mirror, and I know he wouldn't have done it anyway. Also, the fact that she felt like he had been dead for longer than I said he had. But again, I had just talked to Mr. Johnson. I had literally just talked to him. So I don't understand how a dead man talks, but Maybe y'all can let me know. And when I tell you, baby, I only lasted 3 more days after that. I didn't sleep for days. I said, I'm not coming back. Y'all ain't gotta work. So I want to address this comment because I've seen this comment a lot and I want to address it. From the research that I was able to do, I found out that nobody involved in this incident made it to a older age like he did. When Mr. Johnson passed away, he was well into his 90s. But both of his brothers had untimely deaths. One died in a car accident, one died in a house fire. So we'll never truly know if that entity haunted them as well. But I do know that he was the last living relative that was around when that situation happened. It really makes you think.
Like, seriously, lovely, this is so scary. Like, I cannot even imagine myself in such a situation. Like, this lady that just narrated this story, she's a super strong lady. Like, how can I actually go to a place of work and I see mirrors all covered up, and you know, they told me how this man, actually say things and all of that. I cannot even work in such environment, like, seriously. And sometimes I often ask myself, some questions like, okay, is it that when all these oppressors, like these masters, when they have, tortured and done so many things, like, a curse of, all the things that black people went through in their hands, is it that after the slave or slavery was abolished, these people begin to live their normal life, like they never had any kind of repercussion, or they never had any kind of what really happened later? Is it that all of those people that they tortured, that they do whatever thing that they did to them, they just let them and they just continue to live their life? I was just asking myself this question. That's about 2 days back. I was like, what really happened? Is it that after all of this atrocity that these people actually committed, they just everything just were just good, was so all good with them, and it's all continued with the oppression of today. It's all continued with the all of the things that we are seeing on internet and all of that. Is it that these people that did all of the atrocities to the slaves and the forefathers and all of that, like, they actually got away with it? What really happened to them? The worst part is that they are very fond of living longer than, like, they will live so long. So I was just scrolling to see if there is anything, like, because I heard of a story of a particular woman who was I think I've forgotten her name, but she's very good at torturing these girls. She's very good at torturing the slaves. Like, that her house turned to a haunted house. Like, I think I've heard a story like that then, and I came across this, and she was like, this man in question, right? Had a slave that was working in a plantation and all of that, and probably this male slave was actually having an affair with his wife. And the thing is that during those days, when you are married, like as a pan-colored person and all of that, most of the women, comes as an intimidation to their slaves, try to, like, tell them to, like, you need to do this, you just have to, like, if you don't do that, I have to tell my husband, the way they do, women and all of that. So she must have made him do whatever he want to do, and he have to do it because what it is to be an enslaved person. So you just have to do whatever your master and mistress have to command you. So after all of this, I think she probably got pregnant, and after everything, finding out this person is, and she decided to give birth, and he's not actually how it is, and they decide to do whatever they want to do with the said, and also do so the way they did. I'm so surprised, like, if a girl of this age can actually tell a story of someone she worked for that shared the same story with her. Why are they always saying that Slavery is something that happened during the 400 years back or 500 years back and all of that. Why are they always, trying to make us feel as if this thing is something that happened in another world, not even in this present world? Like, this thing is something that actually happened in this present world, not the other way around, that trying to make us understand or feel that it happens 400. If a lady of this age can actually narrate a story of someone she worked with who was just in his 90s, that means slavery was not that far. It's something like yesterday and all of that. And the thing is that if this man can actually have this kind of experience for doing whatever he did to that guy that works for him in his plantation and his farms and all of that, with with the child and all of that, that means most of them must have done other things. Most of them must have done things. And somebody left a comment in her section asking, why is it that these people actually came for him? Why is it that they didn't come for the brothers? And she answered that these brothers has long, some of them, one person was under a house fire and the other one accident and all of that. Maybe, just maybe, they were all just seeking for justice and reparation. They were just, maybe, these people, must have told their families and all of that, and they decided to keep it to themselves, because I could not even imagine, after all of the atrocities that these people have committed to our forefathers, they just, they continue with their life, they continue, trying to live their normal life as if nothing happened. Sometimes I often ask myself, why is it that these people still dislike black people, even if they are the ones that is oppressed, even if black people are still the ones that is oppressed, but black color people still dislike? So sometimes I think it's because of maybe what the sister have said, because of what their grandfather have passed through, because of the girls and all of that. So because of that, seriously, when I saw this video, I was like, this just answered my question, because I would not imagine, after all the atrocities that were just committed, they would just continue enjoying their life without at least any a little thing, like something like that made them to feel some kind of remorse, like what I did was bad. So maybe probably he lived longer because he was not the person that actually did the art, and his brothers that actually did the art didn't, because they are the ones that did the art. So anyways, when I saw this, I was like, I'm just going to bring it up here, because it's a question I keep asking myself, which she just confirmed that some of them, okay, they actually face some kind of reparation. Anyways, let's just leave me off in the comment section of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.
If you have watched up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes, guys. So please, why not just share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.